that was good. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone for coming out. There's a lot of things going on in New York today, and at first I want to, if we could, since everybody's eating, if we could just give a minute to say grace and thank God for those that prepared the food and for getting us here safely, and for God gathering us together here in this building to get the knowledge and to better ourselves as well as be as infectious to others in our community. So we thank God for all His blessings. Amen. Okay. I didn't think I would be keynote speaking at this time, so on behalf of Dave Miller, he left me the responsibility of filling his shoes. And that's some pretty big shoes to fill. It's okay? Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's some pretty big shoes to fill. He is an amazing person that's doing a lot of the footwork here. It enables people like him enable us to have an outlet to our community, and I'm very grateful for that. And much appreciated to that. And it's good to see the men in our community doing the work for the men in our community, which will enable the women in our community to really fall back and be the queens and the women that we are. Because sometimes as women, we don't get an opportunity to really fall back. We get so accustomed to taking charge and taking control and doing everything. And then when it comes to really owning who you are as a woman and having the ability to fall back, I think some of us really don't know how. So it's a learned initiative, which I too also had to learn, because I too was a single parent, and you know, you just get so accustomed to doing it all. And now that I've come into my womanness, like, you know, I want to fall back a little bit. I want my man to take the lead. I want to relax and know that everything's going to be okay. And I just hope that as we do these engagements and I get to speak to people in our community, I can help teach our young ladies the importance of making better choices from early on that will enable you the opportunity to fall back and, you know, own who you are as a woman and let the men lead. Because I think too in our community, the men really get confused about what their role is too, because we're doing everything. And then there's a level of trust that's not passed on to them, or that's not supported on us by them to take that level of control, because we don't have that trust. So there's so much we have to heal. There's a lot of healing. There's a lot of healing we have to do in our community, and I'm grateful that, you know, I'm hoping that something I have to say will, you know, touch someone here in the audience today and know that they can make a difference in their life as well. I want to say as well, what got me on this journey, raising Dante as a child, and God using me as a vehicle to get him here was just a blessing, because he almost didn't get here. And because the fear of God I had in my mother. I was young, I was only 16 years old. And, you know, I guess I ventured off a little bit too far away from home. And allowed myself to, at that time, the expression was I got caught out there. And I was afraid. I was afraid to go home and tell my mom, because I come from a very Christian background, and my mother was also the mother of a single family unit. I mean, my father was there, but it was an abusive household. And I was just very afraid to tell my mother. So I give all blessings to my sister, Deborah Smith, who really was my pillar of strength in that time of confusion. And she, you know, helped me to bring a poet. And I wrote a poem that says, "For the love of a sister, a poet was born." I was actually in Planned Parenthood, in the abortion procedure, getting ready to get in the process of it. And just something hit me that just told me I couldn't do it. But I was already in my the gown with no back out. And I'm sitting there waiting to be next, but it was the grinding of the machine in the room that really bothered me. And my sister was in the waiting area waiting for me. And before the nurse came and got me, I asked her to get my sister. And when she came back, all she did, I remember her bending down to the level that I was sitting in the chair. She said, "What's the matter?" And I said, "I just can't do this." And thank God she didn't like ask me right then and there why, whatever. She just extended her hand and we went into the locker room, changed my clothes, and canceled the appointment at the front desk. And she didn't ask me why until we got downstairs to street level. And I told her, I just don't know. I said, that grinding, that machine is just something, I just couldn't do it. She said, well, you know now, we have to tell Mom. But I thank her so much for not questioning me right then and there and not being forceful and saying, well, come on, we're here, you know, what's the matter with you? She just looked in my eyes, and whatever she saw in my eyes, we went out, and she didn't ask me until I was fully dressed in my clothes with my shoes on Court Street, and said, well, now we have to tell Mom. So for her pillar of strength and her faith in me, and, you know, loving me enough, you know, I'm really glad he's here, because he's not only been helpful to me as a person, I'm glad he was able to shine his light on the world. And then as we get to the Shine Your Light, the title of my life skills workbook is the Shine Your Light Life Skills Workbook. And it stemmed from a song he wrote, Umi Says, and it's on his Black on Both Sides CD. And Umi is mother in Arabic. And from a young child, Dante was very interested in the arts and reading, and I'm glad that I just had the wherewithal to stay intuitive to his instincts and follow the initiatives and the things that he was excited about, and I nurtured it, and we read books together, and I was a big contributor in his life to his reading abilities and supplying him with books that held his interest, and you know, whatever he wanted to do, whatever auditions, and, you know, he taught me the system of the industry, buying the Backstage magazine and looking up and going to the bookstores and buying monologues for him, and he kept a book of monologues in his back pocket and he would study. So I say today to parents, stay very in tune to the just stay very intuitive to the instincts of your children and nurture those things, because I believe children know what they want from really young. And when you nurture that, you not only do them a service, you do yourself a service, but you give them a head start in life, and that's what we need. We all need a head start in life. We all need that. And the sooner you can get them on their path, the better off for them and for you. And then out of that, one day he came home from an audition. He was pretty bummed out. You know, he got a lot of rejection before he got any yeses. And he was just sitting there kind of bummed out, and I was in the kitchen fixing something to eat, and you know, I'd be busy around the house. I'm like, oh, come on, don't feel that way. It's gonna be okay. Just continue to shine your light. It's gonna be all right. And we know that words are powerful. And I would tell anyone, use good words. Use good words on your children, because words are powerful. We had the saying back then, sticks and stones may break your bones, but words never hurt you, and that is so not true. Words are so hurtful, and they're harmful, and they're the first things before any kind of physical violence or any kind of sticks and stones. So let's make sure the words are always of concern, they're caring, and they're loving, and they're from a point of sincerity. And who would know that maybe like 15 years later, he came up with the song when he said, Shine Your Light. So at that point when I heard the song, it really stopped me in my tracks, because who would have thought that, you know, this was something that a song would be made of. But I should have known, because even from his first CD, well, his first album that he wrote when he was like 16 years old, I would tell them, I'm not going to tell you anything more than twice. And when they would say, like, if you can you can hear. And that was one of the first songs he wrote. That album didn't do as well as Black on Both Sides, but I should have known when I heard the title of one song, If You Can you can hear. I was like, okay. So we do know that we are the first role models in our children's lives, or in the lives of not just our children. If you don't have children, your nieces, your nephews, your cousins, your siblings. We as a family unit are the first heroes, or people that we look up to. So we're not perfect, and we're all circumstances of our environment, but it's how you turn those negative things into positive things. And thank God we were able to do that. And my family was very instrumental and helping me raise my children. By the time I was 19, I had two children, and my family stood by me. They were very instrumental. They made sure I did everything I had to do, and I thank my mother to this day. God bless her. She's still here at 90.